Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. Today we're looking at, just briefly before the patch goes live, the complete 6.4 notes. Now specifically, there's not really been any major additions to this to write home about. The thing that is most interesting is the fixed section, current issues, and of course the class and battle changes. So we're going to go down to these, as you can see in the battle system area. If you want to see stuff talking about the previous things, I did a video, quite a lengthy video, where we read through the previous thing. That'll be linked in the description. But we're going to talk about the battle system since this is brand new. So as you can see, I mean, we're not going to go through every single bit because reading the same number over and over again would be boring. But as you can see, first of all, we have changes to our Gladiator and Paladin. We've got changes to Riot Blade, Circle of Scorn, Divine Veil, Royal Authority, and Atonement. And all of those have had their potency increased across the board. This is both from their combo potencies on some of these, like Riot Blade, as well as their standard potencies. And we're looking for about 20 potency increase on the majority of the base potencies, and yeah, it's about 20 potency on a combo as well for each one of these. I think that's exactly perfect as well. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Divine Veil, though, has had its effective radius increased from 15 to 30 yards. So this particular patch is all about extending the range. That's something you'll find as a reoccurring thing here. All in all, small potency changes to Paladin. But yeah, honestly, these little buffs here and there, they're quite welcome. Warrior, then, exactly the same kind of deal here, only we've got Storm's Path, Vengeance, Storm's Eye, Fellcleave, Upheaval, Shake It Off, and Inner Chaos affected from these changes. Storm's Path, then, the potency has been increased from 150 to 160, as well as the combo potencies up 10 as well, 430 to 440. It seems that this applies to Storm's Eye as well, with a 10 potency increase. Fellcleave has gone actually a lot more than 10. That's up to 520 potency from 490. That's quite considerable, actually. Upheaval, 370 to 400. So, yeah, small minor adjustments. Shake It Off, then, has its effective radius increased to 30 yards. This puts it in line with all of the other ranged type abilities like this. Shake It Off, incredibly useful, and an increase from 15 to 30 yards is going to be massive, especially when some of your party members on some of the Savage fights might be in the corners of a room and you might be in one of those corners. So that's going to be more useful. Pretty good. It might save some runs. Inner Chaos up to 660 from 650. Yeah, nice stuff. Small potency changes. Again, we're not expecting to see any major changes until 7.0, so don't expect that. Just potency changes mostly, and effective radius. Speaking of which, Dark Knight, Dark Missionary is the only thing that's changed for Dark Knight, apparently, and the effective radius of this has been increased to 30 yards from 15. Very cool stuff. Gunbreaker, we've seen changes to Keen Edge, Brutal Shell, and Heart of Light. These are potency changes. 170 to 200 on Keen Edge. We've got Brutal Shell, 160 from 130, and 300 from 270 on the combo. And the effective radius of Heart of Light is now 30 yards as well. So, yes, very cool stuff. It is nice to see all of these things finally getting usable across the entire arena, or at least a bit further. I'm surprised that they've not just made it like 100 yards on everything at this point, because in PvE, it's very annoying when you try to use something, especially Shake It Off, and you're just, that yarm away from somebody. But, yeah, it's definitely going to make things easier. Pugilist and Monk, then, same sort of difference here. Mantra and Brotherhood are up to 30 yards radius now from 15. Pretty cool. Dragoon. Dragoon has had some slightly different changes, mostly to jump and high jump. It can now be executed whilst you're bound. So in certain situations where you're bound to the floor where you're standing, you'll still be able to jump and high jump. However, as it says here, to improve the functionality of this action, jump will no longer affect the character's position as recognized by the server. The camera will no longer follow your character when executing jump. So basically what this means is you're not actually moving anywhere. It's just simply an animation of your character jumping towards the target and attacking. This is basically changed for both jump and hide jump because the server would sometimes tick you in the wrong place, and it's fairly unfair in comparison to other movement-based attacks from some of the other jobs in the game. And honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't been done before now. Honestly, but yes, so you won't actually physically be jumping, it's just an animation. So if you had like that animation somehow turned off, your character would just be standing where it was before. So you're in less danger of walking into AoEs, which means that you're going to have a higher chance of having uptime because you're not worried about an AoE. Very cool stuff. Battle Litany and Dragon Sight are the other two things to be changed. The Battle Litany change is 30 arm radius now from 15. That's cool. And Dragon Sight now nullifies action direction requirements for self. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. Why have they baked a roll action into Dragon Sight? Oh, well, there we go. Samurai, then. We've had changes to Tenga Goken, Hisatsu Senai. I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of this, I'm sorry. Keishi Goken, Shoha, Ogi Namakiri, and Keishi Namakiri. And pretty much, we've got range increases. Tenga Goken up to 8 yarms from 5. Goken 5 to 8 yarms as well. And then the potency changes are quite considerable, actually. Hisatsu Senai is now 860 from 800, gaining 60 potency. Holy moly. Shoha, 520 to 560, 800 to 860 on Ogi Namakiri, and 800 to 860 potency on Keishi Namakiri. So I think they're just trying to be apologetic for taking Kaiten out at this point. I expect some changes in 7.0, to be honest. Some more like physical changes to Samurai, because quite honestly, are the potency changes enough? I don't think so. If you're a Samurai main, let me know what you think about this. Reaper, the only ability change is Arcane Circle. It says effect radius has been increased from 15 to 30 arms. Cool. Physical range DPS roll actions. Okay, so Peloton now has a 30 arm radius instead of 20, so anyone who can use Peloton, woo, you can be further away from people. That's actually pretty useful for when you do like dungeon runs and the bard runs ahead or something. Bard changes: Mage's Ballad, Army's Peon, If I Could Speak, Battle Voice, The Wanderer's Minuet, Troubadour, Nature's Min, and Radiant Finale all have been changed, and guess what? It's all to their range. Both the range of additional effect of granting these things to yourself and party members, up to 50 arms on the majority of this stuff. And then we have Troubadour up to 30, Nature's Min up to 30, and Radiant Finale up to 30. This is quite considerable. That's a lot of range increases. Holy moly. That's good for buffs as well. It just means that the raids are going to be so much easier to maintain buffs without standing in weird places. It's going to allow for more flexibility with mechanics as well, and uptime strats and things like that. Think about it. Machinist then, Tactician, 30 arms up from 20. That was probably a 100% guess at that point. Dancer, we've had effects to Shield Samba, up to 30 arms. Nice. That's really good from 20. Even if it's just 10 yarms, even if it was 1 yarm, it'd be better. Shield Samba is awesome. Single Technician Finish, Double Technician Finish, Triple Technician Finish, Quadruple Technician Finish have all changed as well, up to 30 yarms from 15, as to be expected. Then we got a really weird one for Black Mage. Xenoglossy, potency up to 880 from 800. Why have they given Black Mage another 80 potency? What? An enhanced Enochian 3. Magic damage increase has been changed from 21% to 23%. Okay, I don't understand this because they were already pretty much the king of the casters to begin with. And then we've got Summoner. The effect radius increased from 15 to 30 arms on Searing Light. So no potency buffs for Summoner. Right? Red Mage, Embolden, effect radius, 30 arms. Magic Barrier, 30 arms. No potency buffs for Red Mage. So you're telling me that out of Red Mage, Summoner, and Black Mage, the only one that needed buffs to their potency was Black Mage? No, dude. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I know I'm coming out of my shell here a little bit, but this is silly. Why would you not buff Summoner? Why would you not buff Red Mage? Anyway, let's not dwell on it. So let's talk about our healers then, something I'm a little bit more aware about. White Mage, Asylum, 15 yarms instead of 10, so that bubble's going to be huge now. Deer, potency increased from 60 to 65, and then the damage over time potency up to 65 as well. Okay. I wasn't aware they needed more damage, but there we go. Temperance. The range of effect reducing damage taken by 7 party members has been increased to 50 yarms from 30. Oh, wow. Temperance is, I mean, it was already really good, but you're not going to have to, like, bunch up quite as much. Very cool. Scholar, Fey Illumination, Sacred Soil, Deployment Tactics, Seraphic Illumination, Consolation, and Expedient have all changed. Guess what? They're up to 30 yarms, apart from Sacred Soil, which is at 15 yarms from 10. But everything else is up to 30 yarms. That's to be expected. I thought somewhere Yoshi P, I think during the live letter, had mentioned, now I don't know if I can directly quote this, definitely go on the official digest, wasn't this supposed to, like the range increases, we knew about them, right, that they were going to happen. I don't think they were supposed to affect heals. Right? I thought it was just... I don't know. Did I read it wrong? I'm not sure. Astrologian, Divination, up to 30 yarms from 15. And Collective Unconsciousness. It says range of additional effect reducing damage taken by 10% has been increased from 8 to 30 yarms. An additional effect reducing damage taken has now duration of 5 seconds. This effect will be reapplied upon re-entering the bounds of Collective Unconsciousness. Okay, so they're really trying to get people to stand in things. That's good. That's good. And then finally, my bread and butter at the moment, Sage. Caracole, Physis 2, Holos, Panheimer, and Eucrasian Doses 3. Nice. Ooh. See what I mean, though? Like, Holos being affected up to 30. All of these things are up to 30 yarms, apart from Dosis, obviously, from 15. That's huge. But I didn't think it was going to be on stuff like Holos. It makes me happy that it's on that. But wow, that's... So there's always that one black mage in the back of like P8S that you can never quite reach. I think I might be able to reach him now. That's awesome. Eucrasian Doses 3 up by 5 potency. Wow, what a buff. I think we need more than 5 potency personally for our damage abilities, but there we go. Anyway, so those basically were your balance changes. There are a couple of other bits. So obviously, Summon Celine, gone. Bye. Bye, Celine. I think Celine being eaten by a carbuncle is my favourite picture on the internet at the moment. There's a comic strip. I forget who did it. It's just stuck in my mind. I was browsing Twitter and saw like a scholar waking up, looking down and going, what? And then it's just like, and there's just a carbuncle munching on one of the Fey wings. I'm like, oh, bye, Celine. But there we go. The following actions. Oh, yeah, so we got visual effects and sound effects now. New stuff for Peloton, Troubadour, Tactician, Searing Light, Magic Barrier, Whispering Dawn, Fey Illumination, Expedient, and Divination. I wonder what the new sound effect's going to be like. Probably like bongos or whatever, right? So you know you're under the effect of it. But personally, I'd kind of like it's like, we got to go fast or something like that. That'd be brilliant, like just a Sonic clip. And also, one of the things that we might want to mention again is that limit breaks have been adjusted to reduce variance in their damage dealt. They still, even in these full notes, do not tell us exactly what they've changed. So we're going to have to go and try limit breaks during our prog and see which is best. And if the variance is really negligible, or if, you know, there is still a strength towards melee DPS limit break being better. But, and of course you can go and glamour your Scholar Fairy, the one that's left, whilst you have it. So enjoy that. Pets will also stop immediately to execute actions when commanded. So I guess that's something that should have been there in 2.0. Cool. Let's go down to the changes section, blah, 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 as we scroll down, because pretty much the rest of this has already been talked about. We're not going to dwell on the PvP stuff because... holy moly, there's a lot of PvP stuff, but we've already kind of brushed past that anyway once before. Some of the things then, where is it? Oh man, this patch notes section is huge. There's a reason it took me nearly an hour to read it last time. The resolved issues. All right, so the following issues have been addressed. There was an issue during the instance battle in the Paladin job quest, Keeping the Oath, wherein players could not progress the battle under certain conditions. Don't know about that, but that's cool to see. There was an issue during the battle with Ferdiad Hollow in Dunscape Alliance Raid, wherein the battle does not progress under certain conditions. I would have loved to have seen that. Maybe killing something too quick? I have no idea. It's probably to do with the ads, I would imagine. An issue in Eureka Orthos, wherein the position of treasure coffers was incorrect. Interesting. So this is referring to the fact that some of the treasure coffers were actually suspended in midair. Some of them reachable, and I'm not sure if any were unreachable, but some of the treasure coffers were floating. It was very weird. So they fixed that. Nice. There was an issue wherein Red Mage PvP Limit Break Southern Cross was treated as a spell and could receive the effects of Manification. Holy, I'm glad that's changed. An issue when spectating custom matches wherein raising the camera angle past a certain threshold would prevent the camera from lowering back to the ground. Cool, but custom matches, not many people use those. An issue in the self-step gate, so Gold Saucer, wherein certain graphics did not display correctly. Didn't see that. An issue in Island Sanctuary, wherein the earnings listed in the previous season differed from the earnings received. I actually saw this. I'm not sure what happened with the calculation, but I ended up getting more received than what it told me I was going to get. I'm not sure what buffs weren't being applied there, but apparently that calculation has been sort of fixed visually. An issue when viewing the fishing log and fish guide wherein the weather conditions listed for catching the sunfish were incorrect. Oh no, not the sunfish. An issue wherein the value of vitality and critical hit rate attributes of the Alexandrian Metal Blade Gladiator's arm were incorrect. And same with the buckler shield. Oh boy. Cool. I'm glad they fixed that on that gear. An issue wherein the lighting for characters do not display correctly in properly in certain areas. Okay, that happens like everywhere, where you look like a ghost if you stand under certain light fittings. So yeah. An issue wherein setting the pet hotbar to display pet hotbar only under pet hotbar settings would result in a cross hotbar also displaying the pet hotbar actions. PS5 only. That's a lot of pet hotbar to read in one sentence, by the way. An issue wherein the game client would not open when logging in via the launcher on Mac OS. I mean, come on, Mac, really? Other minor text issues have also been addressed. So these are the ones that are currently happening. So this is more important. There's an issue during the main scenario quest, The Price of Freedom, wherein quest markers do not display under certain conditions. In the event quest markers disappear, players can proceed with a quest by moving to the peaks. Okay, cool. An issue wherein unintended quest markers appear when undertaking certain quests. Okay, that's interesting. There's an issue in the new raid, Anabasios, the 10th Circle, and Anabasios, the 10th Circle Savage, wherein the attack indicator for the enemy attack Entangling Web disappears when executing the general action jump. Oh boy. So, That's a big one. An issue wherein a description of a machinist PvP action Bioblaster fails to mention a damage over time effect is not applied by analysis. However, this is just tooltip. Another tooltip issue where the variant action variant ultimatum erroneously states the increased enmity effect has a duration of 30 seconds. It's actually 60 seconds. Okay, big one. There's an issue in Island Sanctuary wherein leaving the supply and demand window open with multiple products listed will cause the client to forcibly close when the clock passes midnight Earth time. How did they even find this bug? What? Addressing this issue requires fixing a bug with the game client, which is scheduled for patch 6.41. For the interim, we have implemented a provisional measure to forcibly close the window if players are interacting with the tactical taskmaster at midnight Earth time. However, there is still a possibility players experience the issue. In such cases, players may safely relaunch the client without issue. We apologize for any inconvenience and may ask for your understanding as we work to address this issue, blah, blah, blah. Right, so, wow. I would have loved to have seen the QA behind that. Holy moly. Somebody had to, like, be playing at midnight during testing to be able to see that. Interesting. An issue wherein selecting a Diadoko sword, opening the subcommand menu and selecting recipe tree will cause the client to hang. Oof. An issue wherein using a calligraph with an angler's canvas results in graphics that display incorrectly. I can't wait to see that, actually. Maybe it wiggles around on the screen. An issue wherein locations listed under the History tab of Teleport window are erased under certain conditions. There's an issue when attempting to teleport to a PS Plus free destination. Oh yeah, that's a new thing. With an invalid subscription wherein the error message displayed is incorrect. The displayed message reads, unable to register free destination. You are not subscribed to PlayStation Plus. The correct message should read, unable to register free destination. You are either not subscribed to PlayStation Plus or your PlayStation Plus reward has expired. So wording, there's a lot of PlayStation integration that makes me think that Sony's going to buy Square Enix at this point. You heard it here first, I guess. An issue when viewing the launcher wherein the mouse cannot scroll when the cursor is hovering over the applications header and footer. Mac only. Sorry, my eyes haven't woken up yet. The mouse scroll functions as normal when moved away from the header and footer. Very cool. It is cool to see like the PlayStation Plus stuff being integrated, but I am starting to think that Sony are realistically going to be, getting this game under their wing. I really, really do not think that Xbox and Microsoft have an opportunity now after this integration, but we'll see. Maybe, right? The more platforms, the better, in my opinion. Anyway, so that was pretty much the 6.4 patch notes, the updates. Big things to take from this. Yoshi P is obviously a Black Mage main, and it shows. No, honestly, going outside of the memes, I'm surprised, very surprised that they didn't buff the other casters. I know this is just like a minor thing in a general scheme of things, but when you look at the damage output of Black Mage in comparison, I don't know how to explain it. This just doesn't make sense to me. So we'll see what the reaction is. Maybe there are some hidden changes or something. I very much doubt it. But very surprised. Let me know if you play Red Mage or Summoner, or indeed Black Mage. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think this is conducive to the balance of ranged magical damage? Let me know. Anyway, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy 6.4, which should be coming live within the next hour or so. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.